Okay, next up is this social progress index, and the social progress index is really cool. It is pretty new actually, and what it does is it measures people's wellness, like the health of a society, without measuring how wealthy or how much money is created within that economy. So it's just looking at the human equation, right? So it's looking at basic needs, foundations of well-being and opportunity. Some of the categories they measure under basic needs is, water and sanitation, shelter, personal safety, basic medical and nutrition. Under foundations of well-being, access to education, information and communication, health and wellness, environmental quality. Over on the opportunity side, they're looking at personal rights, property rights, personal freedom and choice, and inclusiveness and access to advanced education. And they take these measurements and they combine them together to give trends and scores to different countries. And so here you can kind of see what the world was like in 1990. You can move these across to see how does it fare later on. What I wanted to look at is actually over here, though. I came into this country comparison and I loaded in our countries. We have Norway, the US, Tunisia, and China. And it's interesting to see how, since 1990, China has been coming up in these areas of wellness. It'd be interesting to see, which categories it does well in versus which it kind of scores lower in. The United States has been pretty high all along, although it does look like it's starting to kind of flatten or stagnate. Here's Tunisia that had a nice jump right here back in 2011. So this would have been their revolution where they got rid of a dictator, and so their political opportunity jumped. As we know, that's been starting to kind of stagnate too in more recent years. Some of those political rights are going away. But it's also just really interesting to see how close these countries are in terms of social wellness, despite being, some these two being much wealthier than these ones. One other thing to look at here is this social progress versus GDP that shows the difference of your social score. So high on the vertical axis is going to be like high social score. So here's Norway right here, which was one of the countries we were looking at. The United States isn't labeled, but it's right around here somewhere. United Kingdom, Australia, Italy, France, Iceland, Israel. Oops. Um, it's around. It's in this little bunch somewhere. But what's cool is then if you go over and you play this forward, the different groups start to move around, and in a second we're going to see the United States pop up, and it starts to get a little bit close to that line there, and that line is the trend line that's saying wealthy countries tend to have more wellness, more social progress. But yeah, here comes the United States. But as we get to 2008 and then get closer to the pandemic, that social wellness starts to drop for the United States. And so the United States is right hanging on, and then it's going to drop below that line as we get past 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. 2020. And so now we're a little bit below the line where it says, even though we're quite wealthy, we're starting to drop in terms of some of our social indicators. Again, some of those things like um, you know, basic medical care or access to knowledge or environmental quality or freedom and choice or inclusiveness. Some of these measurements are starting to slip for the United States, which is curious to find out about and potentially concerning as well.